Okay, thank you everybody. So my name is Matti Palosua. I'm also known as Melvin in the demo scene and part of Scene.org organization. Well, a couple words about myself. I've been interested in the demo scene. I've been following it pretty closely for the past 10 years. And today we're going to talk about 64K intros, and I've been doing a bit of those also in a group called HowJob. And today we're going to go through very best of 64K intros released in the last 5-6 years. And it's sort of a personal collection of intros. I've tried to choose very good intros that are either technologically very impressive or are pushing the boundaries with new design or very good visual elements. And all the intros are PC intros. Well, this doesn't mean that other platforms don't have such good intros, but we just needed to limit the collection somewhere. And 45 minutes is also a very short time to show a lot of good stuff. So it's only 8 intros, but I have also a big list of other good intros in the end of the seminar. But let's hit the road. The first intro I'm going to show is H+ by Halston. It was released at the Party 98, where it got second place. And I'd say this intro, in a way, started a new era into 64K intro design. There's a story to tell. It has a very flawless design from the start to the end of the whole intro. And there's very tight, almost perfect synchronization between the music, the visuals, and the real-time effects the intro is showing. Let's watch the intro now. So that was H Plus by Halcyon, and back here, yeah, there's a story of traveling particles. And at this point, I'd also like to mention another intro, Catch 22 by Replay. It also brings the beauty of the particles very much aboard. This intro was released at The Gathering '99, where it got 2nd place, I believe. Or no, 4th, sorry. And you should check this intro later. Sure. But let's move on to the next intro. That is Backslash 7 by Hellcore and Omnicolor. This intro was released at the Takeover '99, where it got 1st place. It's a black and white intro. It has, in one way, it's a traditional intro with lots of different effects. It's an effect show, but also it uses a lot of new design elements. It's again very tightly synchronized between the music and the visuals, and there's some nice poetry in the intro, like where people often argued about if poetry in demos is a good thing at all, but at least in my opinion it's very nice touch the text add into this intro. And also it was one of the first intros that was done in high resolution. Back in '99 we still had pretty slow computers, old Pentiums, and it's actually an optimization trick to have everything black and white, and also the very stylish widescreen. That is just less to paint on big screen. So that's why the intro used to run very smooth on computers back in '99. So that was Backslide 7 by Hellcore and Omnicolor. On related intros, I'd like to mention a group called Orange, who already did back in '96 an intro called Tease Bob, which perhaps gave a birth to all these black and white stylish intros with particles, some distorted music, and was really astonishing back then, and it still is. And a bit later on, I'd like to mention Fuck With Daddy by Howjob, where I was actually part of making myself. So we were very much inspired by Backslide 7 back in '99 and just admired the style and wanted to do something similar ourselves, but perhaps a bit more mellow style. So recommended to watch. We are now moving on to Heaven 7 by Exceed. This intro was released at Mecha Symposium 2000, where it got first place by Huge Marginal. This intro has lots of ray tracing, real-time ray tracing, and it's combining the effects with very cool visuals, and it was perhaps the first real-time ray-traced intro that really, how would I say, really put everything perfectly together. Like design-wise, it was pretty much perfect intro, with really astonishing music, and it's really great looking. And of course, as always, it's pretty rare that nobody or anybody does something new in the demo scene. So real-time ray tracing was already done in intros a lot before. And group called MFX was the first one, in my opinion, that experienced the really neat stuff. Back in '97, they released a Transgression 2 intro, which had, back in then, we had 486 computers, which were like really lacking the CPU power to do ray tracing. And there's still some debate about how much faking was included with MFX, but nevertheless, the intros back then were already very cool. And they later on continued with Gamma series, which even pushed the real-time ray tracing a bit further. So there are some Windows ports out of the Gamma intros at least, so you can check those even on modern computers. Yeah, the next intro is Anti-Money by 3-State. This again, completely different style-wise. It was released at LTP4 party, and it's totally black and white, which means it's black and white. There's no other colors included. And it's very rough what comes to the whistles. And it's using things like text as an effect. It's filling the screen with texts to create some cool effects. And, well, let's just watch it. So you notice this intro had a consume message in the end, but there was another group that took the message a bit further, and this group was Farbraus from Germany. And when they released the product at the Party 2000, it was an instant hit. This intro was marvelous on many levels. The guys made their own tools to create the intro and generated everything with their tools. All the textures, all the 3D, everything was done procedurally in their tune. And also, while a lot of intros were using normally tracker music back then, these guys made their own software synthesizer, and that spared a lot of precious kilobytes, so they could squeeze really impressive amount of data in 64K. But I'm not going to talk about their tools because Farbraus is here speaking about that later in this seminar, so let's just watch their intro. continue still for several minutes, so I think we could skip the long end scroller. Basically, the guys are just bragging about their system and telling how much space they have still left to fill. Really sorry about slow frame rate. There's nothing we could do about it, actually. Well, already back in '97, there was a group called the Black Lotus who did intros a bit similar fashion. They used also texture generators and software synthesis where they pre-calculated all the samples before playing the intro. And of course, I should mention with this intro A&D, who have done a couple of really astonishing intros here at Assembly, both in 2002 with Squish and Zoom 3 at 2003. Both intros include like really impressive amount of data, both sound-wise and with 3D textures and all the visuals included. And of course, one more intro in the same fashion is Project Genesis by Conspiracy. And this intro was released at Breakpoint 2003. Included 4 different parts with different musics and about 10 minutes of running time. But the next intro is not about how to squeeze a lot of stuff in 64K. It's Rise by Might Force and Park, released at Mecha Symposium 2001. And this is more about how to create a nice mellow atmosphere in your intros. Technically, this has, say, only flat shaded objects, and it's playing more with the lighting and shadows than actual amount of textures or something like that. And it's accompanied with very nice relaxed music, and it brings you the feeling of warm summer sun in the city. Okay, sorry again for the visual artifacts. You should better watch these intros at home with better computers. Oh. I'd like to mention Group Replay again. Like they were perhaps the master of this mellow style back in 99, 2000. Some book print and a broken heart is a good example of what you can achieve with flat shading, some nice atmosphere and mellow music. Also, the beauty of the cubes is very well seen in the Gracchus by Color, which is actually a 4K intro, but it's just so unbelievably cool, so I wanted to include it here. We are now moving back to Farbrush, because they created Candytron at Breakpoint 2003, the first 64K intro with pretty realistic looking human model. Well, in this case, a sexy chick. Like, a lot of demo sceners like that stuff. So I'm sure they did it on purpose. This is already over 2 years after they did the product. So at this point, their tools were much more advanced, and it really shows. We are moving now to the last intro of this show, which was released actually only 2 weeks ago at Euskal Party in Spain. And this intro is Paradise by RGBA. And it's perhaps one of the first really great attempts to have realistic looking nature and animals in 64K intros. This one has very, very nice looking visuals, and it's also partially thanks to the latest graphics adapters. It is using the Pixel Shader 2 and DirectX 9 to achieve a lot of the atmosphere. Let's just go for it. Type, so let's skip the end scroller. It's again pretty long, not as long as Farbrowse usually has though. And 3 years ago, people from Free State already created an intro called Sonnet. Intro had 4 seasons in 64K. It's also very worth checking out. But now we're at the end of the seminar. You should write down the first URL. I put there on the list all the intros that are mentioned during this session. So you can download and check them at home. And of course, for more intros and cool demos, you can always check for Scene.org viewing tips page and Scene.org awards site. But otherwise, I'm pretty much done speaking. If you have any questions, please go ahead, ask now, or come talk with me later when the session is over.
Okay, if anyone doesn't have any questions, let's thank you. Thanks, Matti. Great show.
Thank you.